just because I forgot to do one thing.
Okay. They can't hear us, can they?
Well, unless you've gone unlisted, or unless you've gone public. No.
Okay.
I'm sure when they watch it back, they probably will.
studio. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Go on, Tom. Lead us, Tom. Lead us, Tom.
The music came up and it
You are
distracted
our
me.
leader. Follow
like
the
it.
leader.
Well, this got started really awkwardly. Chrome crashed right as I was getting it set up. I was afraid it wasn't going to come up. It's if we're visible now, we did it. If not, then you can't see this. This is the newbie. With me is our buddy Mike and the Gorecast podcast.
Johnny
Say hi.
customarily from the Gorecast podcast. Hello.
And Mike from
Mike.
here. I'll be around.
I need to shrink this window down.
So, yes, it's been a few weeks. We've all been busy. We've all been living through this whole lockdown scenario. And we just haven't had time to get together and actually chat about things.
Lie to you.
So,
I have been enjoying.
Yeah,
I have been enjoying getting to walk around like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Perks of isolation.
That's how you've been. How you been
Get over
spending?
here.
Huh? How have you been spending lockdown, Tom?
Work mostly. Work has gotten busier.
Mm-hmm.
Doing channel stuff. Rearranging my shelves, which I do like almost every couple of days.
I've been quite enjoying
Playing with cats.
Of course, you've been playing with
Meow,
cats.
meow.
I've been quite happy to have actually been able to upload a few videos to my own channel, which I haven't touched for a long time. So that's been fun. And Johnny, what have you been doing? Just doing Mortal Kombat? You've been working on any?
No, we were on a bit of a kind of end of season break from the American Horror Show. So other than that, we've been podcasting 3 nights a week over on our Gorecast YouTube channel because I have an issue with taking time to myself.
So Tom, introduce us. What are we going to be discussing today?
We are talking dark superheroes. Not necessarily evil, but superheroes that aren't the squeaky clean standard superheroes that you would normally think of. But these are
ones that aren't made for kids.
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Maybe more of an adult graphic novel kind of thing.
I mean, this topic is one I suggested because both me and Tom are super nerds. I mean, Johnny, he is a nerd, but he's not as nerdy, but he still knows what.
Funny story for one of the American. Funny story for one of the American Horrors episodes. I literally put the entire DC collection into my head in the space of 3 weeks. So I'm pretty nerded up, actually.
I think we can upgrade him to super.
And considering we're talking about dark superheroes, DC is a very good place.
Well, DC, yeah, they're definitely the forerunners of the big
Dark
players,
Horse as well.
I don't
Dark
know.
Horse, like the
issue. Dark Horse, very good. It's like a lot of the modern DC movies, this whole DC universe that they've created with Aquaman, and it doesn't quite get there for me. I mean, it is dark, but it just Drive is just dark for the sake of being dark. It's like if you go back to one of the best ever DC movies, the 1989 Batman, which is a great movie to start with, which was actually messed up.
It was the tone. I really loved the tone of that one. I think out of all the other Batman movies, that one was the closest to a comic book.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching it as a kid. I was only about 7 when that film came out, and I did go to the theater, to the cinemas to watch that. I remember being massively freaked out on one particular scene, and it's where the Joker has the electric handshake.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Fries the guy to a gory crisp. Like, kids movie, everybody.
Yeah, well, wasn't that one of the movies that caused all of the censorship issues in the first place?
Created the PG-13 rating because there were a amount of people that were taking their kids to go and see Batman thinking, oh, it's going to be like the Adam West, it's going to be a campy fun. No. Thank you, Tim Burton.
It was campy and fun. Well, it was the Batman. The parents were unaware of how dark in the literature Batman actually was, and they thought he was all Adam West Batman. Detective Batman.
It just reminds me of
his parents who got murdered. That's pretty dark.
It's like I always try to imagine if Ralph Wiggum went to see the Batman 1989 movie. It's like, what is the red stuff coming out of Kitty's ears?
That's raspberry jam.
No, it's not. It's not raspberry jam. I'm going to tell you that straight out.
But yeah,
I don't like.
But what Tim Burton did by proving that this concept of the superhero movie, it was always squeaky clean prior to that, especially with Superman, which I still love the Superman, the first two movies. I have a soft spot for the third one. The fourth one just is an embarrassment. Yeah. But yeah, by giving it that dark tone, how it paved the way for the next 30 years of movies. It's like, if you look at that one, would we have got films like we have today? I mean, look at Deadpool. I mean, it's not a kid's film, but it is dark. The brutality in those films, it's so good to see.
When
I went to see Deadpool, I swear half the audience
were kids. The thing with Deadpool, though, is he's like another level again. Like, Deadpool literally had to fight his own cause to get his over 18s movie. It's
a great story.
It is an amazing story, but it was literally like Ryan Reynolds put his fucking foot down and was like, dude, you cannot do this as a PG-13 movie. Yeah. It won't work. You tried that already and you glued my mouth shut, and we all remember how that went down. We all remember.
But it's like, if you look at what they did with Batman, starting off with the Tim Burton ones, it got criticism for being a bit too harsh, so they made Batman Returns, which again still had some dark moments, but I love Batman Returns.
Danny DeVito as Penguin is so good.
He owns that movie.
And Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, I'm never going to complain about.
Christopher Walken, I'd never even heard of the character. What were it?
Shrek. Max Shrek.
Max Shrek, yeah, named after Nosferatu. And I'd never. But it's Christopher Walken. Just have him as a dick in anything. Have him as just have him in everything.
Dude, I heard the guy read the lyrics from "Poker Face" by Lady Gaga, and it was terrifying. So,
you want to find?
I've seen that
pigs?
Too.
That is a great
little pig.
But then it's like, oink, so oink. But yeah, then after we got the third one, was it Batman Forever? I think it was Joel Schumacher took over, and then he started introducing all the campiness of the original one. Yeah, rest his soul. And then you got Batman and Robin with bat nipples and a bat credit card, and you've got all the bloody funky dance scenes on ice skates.
There's a freeze coming. Don't forget, there's a freeze coming.
Cool party.
Everyone, chill.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm surprised. Like, that movie was so cheesy. I was surprised they didn't actually get to the chopper into it just out of sheer shits and giggles.
But then you look at Wolverine's evolution. It was kind of the exact opposite. I mean, he was always a badass, but the original movies were kid friendly. Then you get all the way to Logan. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, he's carving people up.
He's proper hacking up, and it's just so good to see. And having this decrepit Wolverine visually, they're actually getting this disturbing, just like when his claws stick and you see him just grabbing it, trying to yank it out, and it's slicing through his fingers. I'm like, dude, gnarly. But yeah, it's good to see. I really want to see more.
Pounding it into a countertop, trying to get it back in.
I don't think that'd work.
I would like to see more of these, but
wouldn't the claw just go through the counter?
Timeline?
Maybe gentle.
Because there's one I'd really like to mention. I mentioned to Tom and Johnny before we started that there's one I'd like to drop on them that people don't realise he's actually a superhero, but it is also dark as. And it's like, if you go back to the late 70s, you have Superman and everything was very clean, very family friendly. Then we get to 1982. The Beastmaster.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
He has the sight of the hawk. He has the cunning of his ferrets. He has the strength of a panther. He has the sight of the hawk as well. He has all these powers of animals within him, and yet, if you see the guy he's going up against, it was Rip Torn, I think it were.
Yeah.
And all the it's such a dark, twisted film where he's taken from his mother's womb at the very start and then implanted into a cow.
Yeah, okay. That movie was messed up.
What's going on?
And then still think of the ring with the eye in it.
Yeah. And then his whole family's butchered.
Sorry,
in front of him. He has to burn.
I don't think I've seen this.
Like, This movie
he has to
so
burn
harsh.
his dog.
His dog gets shot with his village gets burnt down, and his dog, his wolf, drags him out of the flames with an arrow. He gets shot with an arrow, but still drags him out of the flames, and he's the only man to survive. And when he comes to, dog's gone. So he ends up burning his entire family in a pyre, and he finishes off with the dog. He's like, "I'm gonna get you," and that's when he realizes all these animals can actually call upon their strengths.
Yeah,
you can talk to animals, but it sounds kind of cheesy. But you watch the film; it's done really well, and it was kind of. I think I'm trying to remember if it was
Dr. Dolittle.
Conan and Dr. Dolittle.
He is very Conan. It's part of the old swords and sorcery movement from early '80s, which Conan probably, I believe, did start. But no, the Beastmaster is such a messed up movie. I mean, they've got these guys who they clad them in like gimp suits, drill out their ears, and implant like leeches.
I'm having all kinds of memories from this.
It rots their brains and they become berserkers, and it's such a savage movie. He's like Rip Torn. You got the main bad guy. You just see it. He's just throwing kids into fire.
You look here.
What?
Now, here's the thing.
What?
I haven't seen the movie. I'm going to love it. I can tell you why. Rip Torn's in it, and I love that man.
The full movie. The full
Rip
movie is on
Torn
YouTube.
Is a boss.
He's the bad. He's not the last bad guy. But
He's in Men in Black. What do you want about?
The guys who have like the wings.
The trench coat guys.
Yeah. What they do is they've got like wings, and they come up. They can move through the earth. They come up behind you, and they wrap you up, and all you see is their bones and goo fall out of the bottom of their hold. And it's like,
Wait a minute, I'm going to
going
find the Beastmaster trailer while we keep talking.
Please do. The full movie's on YouTube, but it's such a good
crazy.
film.
I feel we're going to get in trouble if we put the full movie on, so I might just put the trailer on with no audio.
If you want to watch it in your own time,
I probably will. It's got Rip Torn in it.
Rip Torn as the baddie, yeah. But it is such a messed up film, but it's so good. It's a proper guilty pleasure film. And that for me was kind of like the earliest, not the first, well, it probably was the first, but the earliest dark superhero movie, which people don't realize is a superhero movie. It's like, because he effectively dies and he's brought back with all these new powers.
How do people not, like, it might be just I haven't seen the movie or heard of it until now for whatever reason, but like when you described it to me, I was like, that sounds like a superhero movie.
I think there's 3 of them. There was the second one where they sent him into modern day.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. And then there was the third one, this made-for-TV movie in the 90s, the Eye of Braxis or something like that.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, there is a Beastmaster 3. And it was absolutely awful. I mean, the second one was bad enough, but the first one is still one of my favourite movies from being a kid.
Mark Singer and Tanya Roberts?
Tanya Roberts.
Oh, Johnny Amos.
Yeah, that's right.
When I say that, I just think of McDowell's. Shit, somebody going to get sued.
There we go. Got the Beastmaster trailer playing there.
Just reading some of these comments. Somebody put some really good points. It's like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The Temple of Doom. It's like that is somewhat of a. He's no superpowers. He's just. But he is a hero.
Well, in the defense of that logic, Batman doesn't have a whole lot of superpowers either.
Well, he does. He got money.
And so does Indy. Indy's got college-funded money, granted, but it's money nevertheless.
Yeah.
I think we found the secret, guys.
I have never seen the two of them in a room together. I can put it that way, if that's what you're pointing at.
That is true. But I've never seen you and Santa Claus in the same room together, to be fair.
Don't bring that up.
Okay, sorry, kids. Here we go. Are you actually watching the trailer in the background here? There's Kodo and Podo, and there's his panther. He's got the strength of the bear as well. Yeah, he's got the eyes of the hawk.
That's a very manly guy with a very firmish haircut.
He is Dar. He talk like this all time.
Oh, he look remarkably like He-Man.
Oh, there's the dude. But yeah, it's like
those things freak me out.
I forgot about her, the witch. Yeah, if you like those old sorcerer and sorcery movies, sorcerers, that word I can't
Dungeons
say.
and Dragons style
stuff
movies.
Like Dungeons and Dragons, yeah, Conan the Barbarian. There was Ator, that were another popular one. The Sword of the Sorcerer, I did enjoy that one as well. I watched a lot of crap as a kid.
I saw Ator in the theater.
Red Sonja, that's another.
Isn't Red Sonja part of the Conan thing, though?
Yes and no. It was always written as a side story of Conan, but they couldn't get the rights to the name, so they just called him Calidor. Yeah. But he's still playing Conan. Yeah, he's a Conan story, but it isn't a Conan story officially.
He walks like Conan, he talks like Conan.
Yeah.
Yes, I get you.
So, yeah, what are some of your favourite ones there, Tom? I mean, the darker side.
This is not going to be. I don't think this will be very popular, but I actually really like.
Watchmen is so good.
That's a great film.
So many people have ragged on me for liking Watchmen. I thought it was a really good, interesting movie. Because I'm not comparing it to the comic book because I haven't read the comic book.
Do you want to know?
I just let it stand.
Do you want to know how good Watchmen as a movie is? Do you know that in the opening credits when you see all the superheroes kind of doing their thing? So if you look at, I can't remember which one of them it is, but they're stopping a robbery outside a theater, and if you actually look up at the top, it's the Gotham Theater, and it's Bruce Wayne's parents. That's just the opening credits, but it's Bruce Wayne's parents. So this is why there's no It literally in the credits explains why there's no Batman in this universe, because the superheroes already existed and they saved Batman's parents. So Bruce Wayne never turned out to be the turmoil, bat-hugging child of murder that he... Well, not murder, because he doesn't murder people. But, you know.
I know if you look at that shot, it's literally while the credits there, you can see Martha and Thomas Wayne, and Bruce is there as a little boy. And Alfred's carting him away. And on the other side of the wall, there's actually a wanted poster for Jack Napier. And you actually see somebody with a gun, so it's like that is, yeah. It's a really, really nerdgasm moment watching that. But I never even spotted it first time around. I had it pointed out to me. I was like, oh, that is sweet. That is sweet. But what I loved about Watchmen most is that the bad guy wins, and not only does he win, he does the job. He never had malicious intention, but he did have malicious intention. But his ultimate goal made everything better for everybody that survives.
Yeah. He broke a few eggs. Yeah. But it's a hell of an omelet.
Again, that's a Joker line. It's a Jack Nicholson line, yeah. What are your favourite ones, Johnny? What are you thinking?
Superhero-wise, a little bit more on the modern side of things, and it's not a movie, it's a TV series, but The Boys that is out last year, and
I still have to watch that.
So it's essentially there's The Boys equivalent of the Justice League, and they work for this big corporation, and some humans have seen the darker side of these superheroes. Like, for instance, the lead character is Mrs. He's just after proposing to her, and she stands out in the road all happy, and then their equivalent of the Flash runs through her, which you never see happen in the DC comics. But if you can imagine what someone running at the speed of light running into a stationary human being would be, you can imagine the result. Oh, they
go through it.
Like, all you saw was your one pure happy about the engagement, and then you just hear this, and she just explodes right in front of him, and it's fucking amazing. And that's literally like the first 35 seconds of episode 1 of The Boys. It's a comic book as well, but it's seriously dark. Like Superion, who's the Superman style character. Yeah.
In a similar tone,
as Shaft would famously say, that's one fucked up cat. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, but everybody's telling me to watch season 2 of The Umbrella Academy.
Freaking amazing. And I normally won't praise anything that in My Chemical Romance.
And I really liked it up until the last episode. The last episode just pissed me off so much. I pretty much almost rage quit.
I also rage quit. I'm one of those people where I'm like, I can understand leaving on a cliffhanger, but there's cliffhangers and there's not finishing the fucking story. And you didn't finish the fucking story. All I know is that the word...
It wasn't even that. It was a case of, let's take this threat away and reset absolutely everything, so the entire 10 hours that you've just sat through don't count.
Unfortunately, having watched season 2 already, it turns out that was completely wrong, and it's very much integrally tied into what's going on in season 2.
Oh.
I will get there. As long as I get the monkey doing that, I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
No. Well, he is, but in a different... I can't tell you without ruining episode 1. And episode 1 is an absolute fucking roller coaster.
I will get around to it.
It's great. Within 5 minutes, I felt like I'd nearly watched the whole episode within the first 5 minutes of episode 1. So much had happened. I was like, oh, 5 minutes in. Jesus.
It surprised me. It was written by Way that wrote it.
He wrote the comic book.
Yeah.
I hate compliment.
I'm never a major fan of his. I like some of his songs, but yeah,
it's such a weird creative story too.
No, it's like TV series in general. I've never really watched. I mean, a lot of people tell me to watch the Teen Titans.
Very good.
But I always thought that was just a crazy, wacky.
It was until Netflix made a Teen Titan show, and it's also very dark and good. It's very dark.
Yeah, the TV in general, I just don't really watch it.
But it's not TV; it's Netflix.
Anyway, what I'd like to talk about is arguably one of my all-time favorite movies.
Homelander. Sorry, who said that? The Reaper. Sorry, I said Superion. Sorry, it's Homelander. Homelander is literally the guy I was talking about, not Superion. Sorry, because he was like, "Does Homelander count as a dark superhero?" Yes, because that's literally who I was talking about. I got my names mixed up. Who's Superion?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking
boys. About. The guy that I said is the Superman equivalent called Superion. He's actually the Superman equivalent called Homelander. Not.
Well, speaking of Superman and dark superheroes movies, we do have to mention Brightburn
because it's bad.
What was bad about it?
They literally, there was no originality to the story. They literally just ripped off the entire history of Superman. Like, it's literally canonically the entire history of Superman, except the only integral difference is Martha Wayne and husband Wayne, whose name is eluding me for some reason, don't tell Clark that he's a raging superpowered alien and teach him to cultivate and mind his powers and be a good, upstanding citizen to all of the humans on the planet. They just go, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Ignore the fact that you're floating through the sky. It's perfectly normal that you threw a fucking lawnmower 500 feet across the lawn. Oh, surprise, surprise. He's burning people's faces off with his laser vision. Who'd have thunk it?
I think that was the point to make it match the Superman lore so much. They just wanted to flip one little variable and just see how Superman.
But my issue with that was they stuck so close to the Superman lore that it's verging on a level that I don't know how DC didn't sue them. Like DC have done a dark Superman story that essentially is that movie. It's one of those Elseworld comic book series ones. Do you know where it kind of exists in its own
parallel?
Yeah, it's like a one run kind of graphic novel that doesn't literally canonically fit into thing. It's like in another little Superman pocket of the universe. Yeah, a little one off.
Just a one off.
It's on you. I didn't hate it. I liked the idea. It's just. And I had fun with it. I wasn't going in expecting to watch a life-changing movie.
I am curious to see if they do follow through on if a sequel comes out of this, because at the end they were kind of building up to their own version of a Justice League with that podcaster. There was like a Wonder Woman equivalent, Aquaman
in
equivalent.
The news reports at the end of it. Is it? Yeah, like
Well, the crazy guy was talking about
I mean, we had the Dark DC universe that was been building. It's not been building. Now it is building again because we had Dracula Untold, which I didn't mind. I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought there was some really good parts. So then it died on its ass with The Mummy. And now it's kind of back again with The Invisible Man.
Thing was, none of the movies really landed. Do you know what I mean?
So not
like the Dark Universe ones. Yeah. None of them really landed. I mean, like Dracula Untold wasn't particularly well received either.
It wasn't a bad film. But it wasn't
as your opening pundit for launching your Dark Universal Monsters universe, it wasn't great, if you know what I mean. Wolfman.
To me, it just reminded me of basically somebody did a Lord of the Rings side story about Aragorn.
That was the problem. It was essentially Lord of the Rings featuring Dracula. Yeah,
it's just Aragorn as a vampire. That's kind of that is the most thing I got for it. But I still need to watch The Invisible Man.
The new Invisible Man is absolutely impeccable. It's great.
And it's re-kickstarted this whole concept.
And I like
the Dark
new
Universe.
angle that they came at for how he became Invisible Man, opposed to been like all these chemicals. It's this kind of like cyber suit kind of thing. It's really cool.
Well, the last one I saw was Hollow Man, and that is somewhat of a dark superhero film, isn't it? I mean, he goes perv raping on that girl in her hotel room or bedroom or whatever it is. That's a very dark 15-minute segment because you can all it's not just what he does. It's the preluding scene where people are trying to convince him that it's like, I think this is starting to drive you a little bit crazy. No, I'm perfectly fine or whatever. And then you can see the cogs in his head rationalizing out. It'd be a total waste if I don't go look at those boobs. Do you know what I mean? I'm fucking invisible. You know, I mean, and then next thing you know, jumpy.
The cut scene was even darker.
And then there was Hollow Man 2, which was exactly the same film, as I recall.
I didn't even bother.
But do you remember? This is probably a Tom movie. One back in the early 90s with Chevy Chase. Memoirs
of an Invisible Man.
That's a great movie. It's not really a dark one, though.
I love that.
No.
It's not dark in the slightest. I just love the movie.
It was kind of noirish to me.
But again, another good crossover movie, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That had its dark moments, and that was quite a fun movie. It wasn't particularly amazing. It had some really stupid parts to it. I still kind of enjoyed it. I loved the fight at the end where you had Hyde versus the soldier who had taken all of Hyde's formula. And he had this big monster. Yeah, it was 2000 CGI, which wasn't quite there, but it was still fun.
I think I called him a hemorrhoid with googly eyes.
That is a very apt description, yes.
Oh, hemorrhoid. Sorry.
Hemorrhoid.
I thought he said hemorrhoid. Yes. I was like, what's a hemorrhoid? That sounds like some sort of mechanical beast of death. I was wrong. The hemorrhoid.
The hemorrhoid.
Yeah, you know.
Hemorrhoid 5000. But no, what I wanted to mention earlier, again, it's one of my all-time favourite movies, is The Crow.
Yes.
I mean, it's a heartbreaking
silence for Brandon Lee.
Yeah. Brandon, this one's for you, buddy. But yeah, I adore that story, and I've read quite a bit into it as well about James O'Barr, the guy that created the story, and about it was made out of his own depression.
Died in a car crash
after he lost. I don't know if it was his wife. I think she was his fiancée at the time, and he was just happy with life. And yeah, there was a car accident. What he wanted to do was to bring her back, and he poured out his soul into his artwork. And then he came up with the character of Draven and this story of lost lovers, and because he wished he died in the accident as well. Well, what would he do if I could come back? And that was his kind of premise, this mission of vengeance. So he came up with a story that. I mean, I have read the graphic novel, and there was so much missing from the film, which I really like to have seen in there. I mean, I know there was the Jason Momoa one that they were discussing last year, but that, of course...
Yeah, Jason Momoa as the Crow, which I was instantaneously like... I love me some Momoa, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
but
give me some Momoa.
It's just instantaneously, visually, it's like... he's not the right fit.
There was one major character from the novel that never actually made it into the movie called the Skull Cowboy.
That's literally because they couldn't work the scenes in due to the untimely passing of said Brandon Lee.
No, as I'm aware, they had actually filmed all the footage, but the whole premise of the Skull Cowboy was to basically be a guide for Eric, saying, you've got, is it one night?
There was supposed to be a guy who literally explains the rules of the engagement.
You've got one night, and you have been brought back by the Crow to seek your vengeance upon those who caused you so much pain and sadness. If you stray from the mission of vengeance, you will remain here forever wandering the earth, blah, 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 and you will never, ever return to the grave. And that's why at the very end of the movie, when he thinks he's killed all of the people responsible, and then he finds out Sarah, his young friend, she's been kidnapped by the big bad guy. He's about to return to the grave and die, and he goes to save Sarah.
Top dollar.
And the Skull Cowboy was top dollar. And the Skull Cowboy was there to say, look, if you do this, you are straying from your mission of vengeance. You will forever walk this earth and you will never, ever return to the grave. Ooh. And it's kind of a case of, okay. Now, when he gets into the church, they kind of film it so the Crow gets shot by our boy Tony Todd.
Yeah, it makes it very much look like the Crow is the source of the superpower.
The damage of the Crow.
Yeah.
And it's not true.
They directly insinuate that.
When it comes to the final fight on top of the church and he's fighting top dollar, he's the one that said, well, I'm the one that ordered that kill. The mission of vengeance is restored. Because he only thought to him it was the four. They didn't realize that Top Dollar was the guy that ordered the hit on Eric and Shelley. So it was him finding out that returns his powers to him. I thought that is such a much more profound twist at the end, rather than just saying, I'm going to transfer all the pain into your... No, it's like, I'm going to get my powers back and I'm going to kick your ass,
Reaper
boy.
Is saying...
That's right up there with RoboCop's, you're fired!
Cinema Reaper is saying here, which is very true, that while the movie The Mask is quite dark, if any of you have ever read the comic book, which is
super
very dark.
The comic is darker.
He kills
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, he kind of...
I would like to see an
R-rated kind of
Mask
kills
movie.
Everything in the original Mask movie. You just don't see it happen as graphically in the comic, or as you do in the comic.
Well, the guy gets flushed down the toilet.
Or something with Rocky Dennis and an Uzi. Was that too lowbrow? I'll sing. Oh my God.
It took me a second.
I'm gone. I'm out. I'm sorry. Be safe.
Get back down there.
Yeah, I've heard about the original. Was that Dark Horse? I can't remember.
I think I'm going to double check. I'm not 100% sure.
I can't recall. But another good one recently.
It's very Dark Horsey, but yeah. Oh, the Joker.
I mean, we can't call it a superhero per se, but the Joker, as a psychological, diary of sorts. Yeah. Excellent film.
He was still kind of acting as our hero in that movie.
Even though Dark Horse was the Mask.
Still.
Comic book guy, Spawn.
Oh, yeah. We won't talk about the movie.
Yeah. I went to the cinema twice.
I do have a secret love of the movie, while also now being a grown-up detesting it for what it actually is.
I know the effects did not age well.
Age well? They didn't come out originally well in the first place. Bar the Violator.
Of its time, it was excellent. The whole scene where we see the clown morph into the Violator, that was
cool.
Okay.
That was good. But
that was
there was an in hell moment that was quite shady, shall we say at least, unless we talk about the cape.
The number one thing to watch that movie for, John Leguizamo as clown.
Yeah, he's great. He's so good.
Oh, he steals that movie. He's so unbelievably perfect.
Good.
And he just nails it. If that doesn't make you want to watch it, I'm just going to say Melinda Clark's arse in tight PVC. There's a second reason to watch it.
Did you ever see the TV series, the animated one? It used to be on Bravo. That is very good.
Same.
And dark as bloody hell.
Yeah, the 90s.
Because that's James O'Barr as well.
I can still watch some of those today, like
Spawn, yeah.
Spawn.
Or Todd McFarlane. Sorry,
was Todd McFarlane.
Where did I get James O'Barr from? Yeah. Sorry, I got my McFarlane's mixed up.
I've heard that one.
I got my O'Barr's and McFarlane's mixed up. So Irish.
What got me is that James O'Barr did write City of Angels, the sequel, with Vincent Perez, and it's like you look at that film. Somebody was to tell you a story, you think that's a really good story, about a father and son who went through a similar affair. But then you see the film and thinking, why have you done it like this?
Tell you
everything
tell you exactly why.
Why is it
two easy words? It was studio interference. It's why the story changed so much as well. Like Sarah was never supposed to be in that storyline the way. I don't think she was even supposed to be in that story.
Yeah, she was.
The second Crow movie. So the second Crow movie, because if you look at all the Crow graphic novels, it runs the same way, that each graphic novel is a different person with a different story. But
but it's like you got the movie series in general. It's like I know you have a soft spot for Salvation, don't you? No, not Salvation.
Salvation's the one with fucking. No, I don't have a soft spot for it. The only thing that saves that for me is David Boreanaz, and that's saying something. It's not even saving it.
Yeah, because you got the Crow, City of Angels.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Salvation. Wicked Prayer. Oh my God.
Salvation I think is slightly underrated. That's the one with Eric Morbius.
Eric Morbius, yeah.
Yeah, I liked the whole how the makeup happened.
Segue, because that is a great segue, because Morbius, I'm quite looking forward to.
Yes.
That trailer, I'm quite happy with it. It's Jared Leto again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm always willing to give Jared Leto his due. I mean, I know he gets a lot of stick for his Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? He was given an outline. He was told, we're going to really emphasize eccentric crazy. And he did it. He nailed it. He just turned out. If you look at Leto's other stuff, yeah, I mean, you just look at him in Requiem for a Dream or Dallas Buyers Club. This guy can act. And then you listen to 30 Seconds to Mars and you think, wow, this guy can. I hate this guy. He's handsome. He's a good actor. He's a great singer. I hate him. I physically hate him so much.
I like Jared Leto now, to be honest. I liked him in Fight Club.
He's a good actor. I just didn't care for his Joker.
I love it when he gets his face stoved in Fight Club as Pretty Boy. It's like I could watch that on repeat. I'm like, take that, you bastard! I'm going to rewind.
Destroy
watch
something
it again. Yes. I forgot here. In Cinema Reaper, Venom.
Yeah. Yes. Venom is a fucking dark. Yeah.
It is a dark. See, Venom to me, he was never an anti-hero. He was always a villain. There was a bit of giving him, but he was always, first and foremost, a head-eating badass.
See, I always knew him as a villain, and when I'm seeing him doing good things in the movie, that kind of confused me. I didn't know there was a whole arc to him.
Yeah, and Eddie Brock was always, well, for other word, a bastard.
Oh, I don't need that now.
But we got a good Eddie Brock in this movie, and the whole thing just threw me. It was much different from Eric Foreman
he can
Spider-Man
bugger
3.
off. Sorry.
I'm glad it exists because I've always loved Venom. So for him to have his own film like that, I'm like, cool. But the way they ended it, Woody Harrelson as Carnage,
that's perfect.
Oh my God!
There's Cletus Cassidy. Yes. There's even moments through the comic books where he's referred to and kind of mentioned in a Natural Born Killers comparison. So it was quite interesting to see. What? Yeah. So
I love that
good.
film.
You could technically talk about those guys in this as well because they're viewed like superheroes in the movie.
I'll tell you what they should do is if they bring I've forgotten her name because there was a female symbiote.
What?
Oh, I've forgotten her name. My point is, if they get Juliette Lewis to play female Venom, I've forgotten her name. Yes, Juliette Lewis would be a really good call because she pulls crazy out of the bag like nobody else. Maybe Helena Bonham Carter would be a good call as well.
She's a little too
and
good.
weighing.
Are you guys excited about the new Mortal Kombat movie they're making right now? Yes.
Also, if you're looking for something
is it live action?
Also, if you're looking for
It is
something
live
as a
action,
stopgap, there is a Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge animated movie that came out that's in accordance with the live action movie that's getting made, which is very, 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 very good.
You keep telling me to. Going back a couple of years ago, I loved the Mortal Kombat Rebirth series from Machinima.
Yeah, they're great.
That.
Tony Jaa White in it.
They were really good. Yeah, Tony Jaa was including Liu Kang. I know you had Mark Dacascos that was playing Kung Lao.
Tony Jaa White.
Mark Dacascos. Oh, right, yeah. Mark
Dacascos man that played Spawn.
Playing Kung Lao.
Yeah.
Michael J. White.
Oh, sorry, Tony Jaa. No, I said Tony Jaa White. Sorry, it's Michael J. White. Sorry.
That was a bit confusing. Jerry Ryan as Sonya Blade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The way the series worked, Tom, is every episode was like an introduction to every character. There wasn't really a thought-out narrative. There wasn't a goal to it. It was just a short movie introducing everybody. And they made a teaser one a few years prior where they brought in Hanzo Hattori, was it? The Scorpion, Jax, Sonya Blade, and Baraka was in there. Reptile was a really cool design. Really cool design. But I love the one for Raiden, where they turned him into basically some guy in a nut house that thinks he's the god of thunder and lightning. And they keep him permanently, except he is the god of thunder and lightning. And they just keep him sedated and warp his mind. I'm like, okay, we're going to have a psycho Raiden. Yes, that sounds fun.
As much as I love Christopher Lambert, him as Raiden was
he was way better as Raiden than fucking your man from Sex and the City.
Remar?
Oh, James Remar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Annihilation.
Yeah, Christopher Lambert is better than Remar.
I like Lambert. I like the laugh.
I liked
anything.
I like. Yeah.
The fate of billions will depend upon you.
Yeah, he was kind of like a French thunder god, Muttley.
There was a great video that came out. I can't remember what channel it was, but they actually got Robin Shue and I forgot his name, who played Johnny Cage. Lyndon Ashby. They actually got them together to play the original Mortal Kombat in an actual fight to say, let's see who's best once and for all. We're having Liu Kang versus Liu Kang played by, Johnny Cage, played by Liu Kang and Johnny Cage. I'm like, yeah, this is a nerd moment right here. I'm so happy watching this. Turns out both of them are shit at Mortal Kombat.
My biggest one of those nerd moments was like 6 months ago where they had the guy and the chick who voiced Barrett and Aerith from the new Final Fantasy remake game playing the original Final Fantasy game on PlayStation. And I was like, because they were doing all the voice acting. And I was like, it's like what the bit that game from the 90s was missing. Actual voices.
What I did think was cool in the series as well is the fact that they got Kari Tagawa back to play Shang Tsung. He's still playing Shang Tsung.
Same guy?
Yeah. But he actually looks like the old Shang Tsung now. So it's really good to see him back.
I always remember him in Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Cheesy.
He was an evil martial
artist. I never watched that.
Or was he? He was definitely evil. I can't remember. Was he... Oh, yeah. Now I remember. I don't know why this has just come back into my head. She was doing martial arts. He went and was her martial arts teacher, and she was very bad at martial arts. And then he made her look like a total tit because he flipped her around like a little ragdoll. Then she did some fucking doodle-doodle-doo and turned herself into like blonde Jackie Chan. And then she kicked his ass, and then she won a trophy, and the trophy kept giving her shit because she cheated. And then she took her part.
I
There's
see
a
now.
lesson here.
I see now why you
Cheater.
like cannabis so much.
Cheater, 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 cheater.
Yep. So anyway, Venom, very good call.
You made it,
Very
dude.
good
We
call.
talked about other things other than Venom. You made that sound like I sidetracked everything there way worse than I actually did.
You were talking about Sabrina
It
the
was
Teenage
in
Witch.
validation in relation to what we were talking about.
And
it
I
had a
did watch
talking
the
cat,
new
which is
series,
most important.
I have to admit. And by season 3 of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina,
I like
I
it.
totally checked out. It was so bad. The last season, it's like every episode, they were throwing in the cheesy pop
There
girl
was
band
a
moment.
very,
Like, what is
very,
this?
very, very much an overabundance of cheerleaders singing and dancing.
And pop songs thrown in. It's like, we've never played in a band before, but let's just try this. And
What's the name of that
It's
TV show?
perfect production.
Glee.
It's
There was too many
phenomenal.
Glee moments in it. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. As a musician, listening to
Yeah.
that, it's like, no.
Like, there's only so many times you can watch
Never
9
watched Glee.
pretend cheerleaders pretend to sing "Hey Mickey, We're So Fine" while doing choreography. I can tell you, the answer is about 3. That's how many times is too much. About 3 is too much of that.
Did either of you hear, just moving along, did you hear
Yes.
of the New Mutants?
The movie that'll never come out, although it is
It's still
How
coming.
long is that movie being
Funny
in development hell? At least 2
it's
years.
happening.
2 years.
It's actually happening. There was some announcement at a thing.
And I've seen something. It's like, okay, so you're actually doing like a psychological horror movie set in an asylum. All these kids have got superpowers. Yes,
Myself
this
and Giz, with
sounds
our
excellent.
extensive
Where is the
X-Men
film?
knowledge, have several theories as to what's actually going on in that mental asylum.
I'm like, this sounds like a really, really good concept.
There is a mutant that
Oh.
is able to summon spirits, and if memory served me correctly, when she initially had her power, she wasn't able to control it all that well. She's able to. It's like, it's not so much summon spirits. It's like create this alternate reality, essentially. So supposedly,
Right. So you think it's always going to be
think
living in
it's-
somebody else's? They're going to have like an Inception.
yeah, I think it's going to be her.
It's going to be
I think
Inception on
she's
Shutter
going to be
Island.
having like a mental breakdown, and all of the crazy shit's going to be leaking out of her head into the asylum.
Right.
That sounds awesome.
I'm going to watch it, but it's like when movies spend this long in development hell, it usually
Well,
means
no,
that may be
there
good.
was. I can't
It's
remember
like-
what happened.
Let's
There
take
was something
Dark
that happened
Phoenix as an example.
that delayed it in the first place, and then Corona delayed the second release. I think it was reshoots.
It's like
Reshoots,
like looking
and
at,
then the purchase of 20th Century Fox.
That was it. Yeah,
kinda
yeah,
threw
yeah.
things
They didn't
off.
know was it going to happen for a while in the brand split.
Right.
LOL.
Then they couldn't clear off the schedule, and then just when they did, all kinds of the COVID
Yeah, I know
thing
the
threw
COVID
off
thing
the
messed
theater
shit
schedules,
up
and
pretty bad.
too much.
It's like just throwing a random thought in here. It's like, you know, we are about horror in general. Is the fact that you think if superheroes were never a thing, we'd actually have characters like Jason Voorhees, like Freddy Krueger, which are effectively supervillains, but presented in a where nobody else has superpowers. They're just bad
I'm
guys
gonna
with
stand-
superpowers.
Foot down in the sand about this yet
Pretty
again.
much.
That Jason Voorhees is not a supervillain. He's merely defending his mother and vengeance on the terrible doings that were done.
Really? So what about the random
Look-
people that he just, you know,
Look,
shanks to death in a sleeping
we
bag?
won't
Accidents.
bring any of that into light. All that matters is that some motherfucker, he gets murdered
My
by a
point
bunch of
is,
teenagers. Then
he's
he comes out of a
he's a
lake to
bad
find
guy.
someone has cut his mother's head off, and needless to say, he's quite miffed.
That wasn't
look,
for several
look,
movies.
that's the thing.
Oh, can you imagine? I mean, one face-off I'd love to see is Claw against Claw, Freddy versus Wolverine.
No,
My
God,
God, would that be fun.
Freddy will murder
sure it
Wolverine, although he
fiction
does
anyway.
have a very high.
You see.
Check the epic rap battle on YouTube. Freddy versus Wolverine.
That exists.
Yeah, it exists. It's actually pretty funny.
Okay, comic book guys mentioned one, of course. I've completely forgotten about Constantine.
So good. Kind of.
I have a
I love
spot
that
for
movie, but I also am slightly... It's one of those where I very, very much need to take a quick smoke and remind myself at the start of it, ignore the comic books and just go in and enjoy it as a movie, and life will be fine. Yeah.
That's what I did.
I'd read the comic books, and upon first watch of it, I was like, you ruined it. And then second watch, I was like, if I just ignore all the back literature and just sit down and enjoy this as a Keanu Reeves movie, it's not bad. Yeah, it's got a perfect circle in the soundtrack.
The things I took away from it
stand on its own.
There were two things that I really took away from Constantine. One, that Peter Stormare might just be the best devil I've ever seen.
Yeah. And smoke.
Peter Stormare, if he's not the top one, he's in the top
smoking
5,
is bad
without question. And that is, you've just nailed it. This is an hour and a half promotion.
Yeah, it very much was
smoking.
I'll agree with that.
That was the other thing I took away from it. I thought there were some really cool parts. I mean, I like the whole idea of trapping them in mirrors and and the build. But it had Pruitt Taylor Vince. He has one of my favorite on-screen deaths, where he's having all the liquid drained from his body, and he's just all he wants to do is drink.
Oh yeah.
The water,
that's very cool.
All the liquids fly away from him, and then he just turns into dust like that. That was good. That was
brutal.
What are we saying here? Unbreakable, of course. The whole Unbreakable trilogy, effectively, because you got
there's Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
And Glass.
In that, Glass is
I still
all right.
haven't seen Glass.
I started Glass. I fell asleep. I never went back.
Split is freaking impeccable.
I think I do have issues with it.
What?
But it's only one.
What?
Just the one.
What?
I was with it all the way up until the point where I saw him crawling on the roof. I thought if you were just going to leave this way, yes, he can enhance his strength. You hear about these acts of humans where if they draw strength, and I thought that was a really, really cool kind of concept. But when he started crawling on the roof,
did you not see how he was crawling on the roof? It's not like he's Spider-Man-ing it across the roof. He's literally digging his fingers into the fucking concrete.
Yeah, it was going beyond.
He picked a car up and threw it over his head. If you can pick a car up and throw it over your head, I'm pretty sure you can dig your fingers into concrete.
I must have missed that part.
The picking the car up and throwing it over his head might be in Glass. Come to think of it. Sorry.
Right. Because everything was somewhat believable up until that point. It's just a cool, which then it's like it built it up as a very, very real world kind of scenario. And then it just threw that out of the window with the super strength. I was like, okay.
But it's a superhero movie.
Like, holy shit,
it is
real.
If it was just him, it was just like, if you shoot me, I'm going to keep on walking at you. It's like, okay.
No, I like the fact that he got that bit bigger and.
It was fun.
I like the whole premise for him actually in general. I thought it was a very cool premise for an evil villain, like some personalities.
Yeah, he was good in that.
The whole.
Yeah, well, I just liked the idea that if you had like schizophrenia or something like that, that if one of the personalities had superpowers, you could possibly develop superpowers. It's a cool thought, like.
Yeah. I think that's what
you just have to wait for him to appear,
and then fuck shit up and wake up and shout.
It just turned into another one of less than pleasing Shyamalama ding dong twists.
Shlaman. M nice. There we go.
Are you? I never knew you were Jewish.
Ding dong. Shlama. Shalaman. Shalaman. Shalalala. Shalalala ding dong. Shalaman. Shalalala. Shalamalan.
Shyamalan.
Shalamalan. Shalamalan.
Shyamalan. Oh, someone's going to be sampling this next. It's going to be like top 10.
If anyone's sampling this, they need to do more with their life, and I'm going to tell you that straight now.
I think is there any we've overlooked? I mean, obviously, there is one big one that we've overlooked.
Blade. I love Blade.
Yeah.
I love Blade. I want to run up and give him a hug and then be like, high five. Don't cut my hand off. I'm being friendly.
I got his pig stick.
No, I'm not going to say anything about pig sticks. That's how you get Wesley sniped straight out of your boots.
See, I do love the first one. It was just released at the right time. And it kind of bugged me that everybody was raving about when Black Panther came out. It's like, it's the first black superhero movie. It's like, no, have you heard of Spawn? Have you heard of Blade? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, I realized it was like an all black cast.
People forget that comic book movies were happening before Iron Man.
Yeah. The best thing I heard about
Blade is actually
Black
one of the
Panther
first big movies to prove you could do an over 18s comic book movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was easier to do an R.
Unlike Batman, where it was like, we should have made that over 18s, opposed to it being, you can't make an over 18s. God damn, those kids cried so much. But
my favorite thing I heard about Black Panther is you got the two white guys in the film. You got Andy Serkis. Yeah, you've got Andy Serkis, the guy who played Gollum. And you've got Martin Freeman. Sorry for that finger. And you got Martin Freeman, who was best known for playing Bilbo as a younger Bilbo. The Tolkien white guys. I loved that. The Tolkien white guys. Tom's trying to figure it out. He's like, yeah, I just saw that meme and I was like, yep, I'm stealing this. On to Facebook you go.
God, I missed that.
Of course, comic book guy again.
Hellboy. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to go on a rant here, and you better buckle in, because I did an entire TV show about it. I do not know what the fucking problem with the 2018 Hellboy was. I'm just throwing it out there. It wasn't perfect,
but it was fun. I
didn't mind it.
As bad as it was.
Gore was great in it. The kills were great. I quite liked your man as Hellboy. He had... When I saw that it wasn't going to be Ron Perlman anymore, I was like, where are they going to find a head blocky enough to make Hellboy be Hellboy? And they got one. Hopper. Sergeant Hopper.
Yeah, it was David.
He pulled it off.
Good. I enjoyed it. I liked the whole thing. It was a little bit... if memory serves me correctly, yet again, there was buttloads of studio interference. Like, the director and the studio were literally... Supposedly there was... You know the tree that represents Mila Jovovich's character in it? Supposedly there was months worth of arguments about how the tree should be designed. They were on that level of... at each other, so you can kind of tell where random bits were like, no, I don't give a fuck, we're the one paying you, you're going to put this in. Fine, I'll put it in, but it's going to be put in shit. You know, that kind of thing. But I enjoyed that movie.
I just thought it was funny. They had the
I like him,
dude.
He's great. Well, we talk in past tense. I liked him.
The Scouse pig guy, yeah.
I thought it was entertaining.
It's Guillermo del Toro in general. I'll watch anything he makes, even if I don't like the film. I'm going to love watching.
Del Toro didn't do the third one. No,
he didn't do the third one.
Yeah, I liked the first one. I wasn't a big fan of Golden Army.
I didn't mind it at all.
I don't know. I thought it was a bit too
okay.
like Disney Hellboy or something. I couldn't put my finger on it.
I thought he introduced some really fun stuff. I thought Seth MacFarlane as the Doctor. I forgot his name. It was made out of smoke.
Yeah.
The isolation suit. He did get the when he has the fight.
With the lockers. It's so funny.
That is so
I love
funny.
I love when you just see that last locker door smash and the indent of his face left in it. It's great. It's so good.
I think I can take you. Yes, take it on, Red Boy. Let's go.
Clang, 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 clang. It's the big strut.
But yeah, I didn't
strut as he walks off back down the hallway singing that German song. Ron Perlman just in a hoop sitting in the fucking gym.
I can't smile without you. I can't smile without.
Yeah, Hellboy's
I love that
fucking
moment.
good. That was a good shout, comic book guy.
Yeah, again, because you tie that to Blade, because you got, was it Luke or Luke Goss as Prince Nuada, and he was also the head vampire in not vampire, but whatever he is in Blade 2. Now, I always had an issue with Blade 2 because I think a lot of it was rewritten by Wesley Snipes, and there was just too much Wesley in it. If that makes sense, it's like you've got Ron Perlman here. Hello, give him more screen time. And yeah, it bugged me. Did that, especially the one fight in front of all the lights, where he's just quite literally just a couple of sock puppets.
It felt like a video game. I was waiting for the health bars to appear up at the top.
Finish him. Comic book guy is loving this right now because he keeps mentioning ones that I've completely forgotten about. Judge Dredd, but I think Dredd is the better one to discuss.
What? Number one, Carl Urban's awesome, and number two, and most importantly, Carl Urban kept his fucking helmet on.
Yes, for the record, that is a 5B movie.
Actually, I went to the cinema to that with my girlfriend, and we were literally the only ones in the cinema. She's expecting this comic book movie, and as soon as we get in there, this dude falls from one of the towers, and you just see his brain explode on the floor. I'm like,
Judge Dredd! Yeah!
This is going to be a good one.
That was my biggest takeaway from that was you could have saved the first Judge Dredd movie if you could have just kept Stallone's fucking head in the helmet for the duration. But no. I forgot about Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
What was it with Stallone always hiring Rob Schneider? Because he was in fucking... He was in a few... He was in...
Owes him money or something.
Demolition Man as well. Although
I love Demolition Man. Yeah. A movie made about 2020.
That is a good movie.
And you can still watch it today.
No, it's bang on time now at the moment if you watch it.
It's still...
There's no toilet paper.
It stands out so well. There was I wonder if there actually is a Schwarzenegger library.
Who fucking knows? He could have written book.
When he was governor of California, they may have made
there's no toilet paper. Nobody shakes hands with each other. They all do this.
Oh, the washy. And we've still no fucking idea what the Three Seashells is all about.
I figure it's like... I've thought long and hard about this, like literally since the movie came out. Like it's one of those movies that gets thrown on like once a year. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's in a sort of a scissor grabbing kind of scenario.
See, I have a theory. It's like if you've ever worked on like cruise ships or any kind of really 5-star environment, you've always got 3 buckets to wash things with, to wash, then to rinse and to sanitize. So I'm thinking each one of those shells must do one of those 3 functions. If it's like like one of these fancy Japanese toilets where you press one shell, ooh, jet of water. You press another button, ooh, there's a hairdryer. You press the 3rd button.
Somebody making serious artwork in the chat there. That's cool.
That's what I was thinking. It was the controls to a bidet. That's all they need.
Yeah, I was like, can you not
oh, go
bidet?
It's like wash, rinse, prostate check. Whoa.
You are.
No, you're gonna have to do.
Dude,
did you ever see that Japanese bidet / toilet? It's like a completely AI. It like figures out the perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, like I would normally, not that I disagree with bidets, but I'm normally kind of like, I'll dodge having large jets of water shot up my arsehole if I can possibly avoid it. But that Japanese toilet looked like an actual experience. Like I feel like I'm cleansed afterwards, like I've been on some sort of pilgrimage.
Grandmaster here, he's mentioned 2. He's mentioned 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jesus. It was a dark superhero movie though.
I think when Ghost Rider was actually Ghost Rider and not Nicolas Cage. Yeah, that was some really cool stuff in there. I thought when Sam Elliott came in as the horse Ghost Rider, I forget the character's name. I thought, that was cool. Sam Elliott riding a horse made of fire. Fuck yes.
The cowboy.
And the second one.
Wes Bentley is a bad guy.
Yeah, I didn't like
the second
that.
one. I liked the idea of Cameron.
We are fucking Legion. Yeah.
There was one part of the second one which I fucking loved, and that's where he rides the Earth Mover.
Yeah.
That was just that was really cool, but it wasn't worth the entire movie. It's like why am I watching Ghost Rider pissing fire and giving somebody a wink? How does he even give a wink without what?
Yeah. I had all kinds of problems with the second one, but I like the first one.
I could watch them, but they won't make it into my collection. But the other one is mentioned. He's absolutely right. RoboCop. And we did briefly mention this earlier, but we didn't consider it a superhero movie. But yeah, it is. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Terminator 2, technically a superhero movie. Large killer robot comes back from the future to defend a child that will stop the future from being exploded. From a supervillain.
Yeah, right, by definition. I don't know. I always expect a superhero to actually be of a conscious, potentially biological being. I mean, I know there are ones like Cyborg, who's a superhero, but he's still a man.
RoboCop wasn't fully...
No, he wasn't, but the Terminator...
Yeah, but RoboCop wasn't fully human.
He's just programmed to... He wasn't fully human, no, but he still had... That's what I love about RoboCop, is the fact that he's trying to find his humanity again. There's a big part of the film, he's remembering...
Darkman, there's one we didn't mention.
Yeah, there's a lot of heart in that film.
Darkman.
There's a lot of heart. What's that?
We never mentioned Darkman. We did before the show, but we didn't on show.
Sam Raimi. You've got to love Sam Raimi. And I think that was like the second... After he'd done Evil Dead, he did one, I think it was Crime Wave. It was like a noir comedy thing that failed on its ass, and then he made Darkman.
We forgot about those.
I just want to discuss Liam Neeson getting pissed off over a pink stuffed elephant. That is my favourite part of Darkman. The pink elephant. Give me the pink elephant, you fucker.
A very specific set of skills.
My favorite part of that movie is when it explodes and he goes flying out of it on fire. Ah!
Who was it? Was it Arnold Vosloo that replaced him? Because there's three Darkman movies.
You wouldn't think it.
Yeah, because you got the... Yeah, I'm sure it was Arnold Vosloo that played Westlake. And I know it was Larry Drake who was playing Durant. So it was the same bad guy for the second and third.
Dr. Giggles.
Yeah, I loved Larry Drake. I was so sad when he died.
Darkman 2, The Return of Durant.
Dr. Giggles, again, it's one of those under the radar movies.
Yeah, Arnold
under the radar horror movies, which is just so good. Yeah. We've got Underworld here. I didn't hate Underworld. I love seeing Kate Beckinsale in tight PVC. I love seeing Kate Beckinsale getting peeled out of
I don't think
PVC
you need to hate or like them. It's just discuss them as dark superhero movies.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think of Underworld, Tom?
I enjoyed it.
All of them.
I've only seen the first two.
The second one I enjoyed better. I did enjoy that.
That was the one with all the werewolves, wasn't it?
No, that was the third one.
No. The second one also had loads of werewolves in it.
Oh, maybe I did see the third one.
But not in a Rise of the Lycans level.
No, I thought the second one was about the return of the first, or Dracula. But the third one, it didn't have... The third one didn't have Kate Beckinsale in. It was Rona Mitra.
Mitra, yeah.
And then you had the fourth one where Kate Beckinsale come back and there was a young girl who had like the power of all.
That was their daughter, wasn't it? Didn't she?
Yeah,
she had do you remember in the first one there was a guy who was a perfect hybrid of vampire and werewolf? Yeah. Michael. Yeah.
Michael something.
He's continued on through all of the movies.
Corvus.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure they bump uglies. And Super Chick. Oh no, wait, she also lived up in a mountain with a load of crazy vampire monks. I can't rightly remember now. It's been a while.
They all kind of blend into one.
I missed a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
you did.
I believe there's a fifth one as well. Is it
you didn't.
Blood Wars or something like that? I didn't see the most recent one. I think it was called Blood Wars. Bloodshot. Thank you, comic book guy. Oh no, that was Bloodshot.
No, Bloodshot's a different
Vin
movie.
Diesel
That's
movie?
the Vin Diesel movie.
Yeah,
That movie's god fucking awful, and I'm just putting that out there right now.
Is it?
It's
I wanted to see that.
rent it.
Is it as bad as Blood Rain? Yeah, the
Nothing
ball.
is as bad as Blood Rain.
There was just
Grandmaster Gaming,
no
Toxic
substance
Avenger.
to it, and I should have known
Toxic.
to be no substance to it because it's a Vin Diesel movie. So I should have known that it'd just be some car chases with a load of explosions around it, which is essentially what it was. Although when he does turn into Bloodshot, there is some fucking cool stuff, but you don't actually see him turn into Bloodshot till the last 30 seconds of the fucking fight sequence. Essentially, properly turn into Bloodshot.
It's not what I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
I think I.
Yeah, Grandmaster Gaming has suggested the Toxic
Toxic
Avenger.
Avenger.
Toxic.
You've got to
He's
love
not really
Toxic.
dark though.
I don't know.
He
If you've
kills
seen,
people.
if you've seen the uncut version of the first movie, the stuff that happened, like when the kid's head gets driven over,
Yeah.
and you skull and everything pop out, I'm like that.
Doesn't he kill a guy on a weight set?
Yes, he does.
Was that one of the later ones, like Citizen Toxie?
You
or
see, I
something
always
like
have the
that?
I feel
Toxic
like it's
Avenger
supposed-
cartoon meshed into my head as well.
Toxic Crusaders.
Toxic Crusaders, that's it exactly.
Toxic Crusaders. Toxic Crusaders. Yeah. Oh, the crap I watched as a kid. That was good fun, was that? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, haha. To be fair, that first one was pretty dark.
It was.
It was still kid-friendly, but it was pretty dark. You know, they pissed off the censors, so the second one, they weren't even allowed to use their weapons.
Which?
Lame.
The Secret of the Ooze. They weren't allowed to use weapons.
Power Rangers?
So they start using Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Sorry. I had Ivan Ooze in my head from Power Rangers. Ivan Ooze. He was a great bad guy.
He was good. I hate to admit I enjoyed the Power Rangers
I
movie.
like the Power Rangers movie.
I feel almost ashamed to admit
The
it.
new one
No.
that came out?
No. No.
That
No,
annoyed
not the new one.
I haven't
Not
seen
the
that
new
one.
What annoyed me about the new one was you've got all these posters of all the Power Rangers in the full uniforms, which look brilliant. And 90% of the film is them trying to morph into the Power Rangers. It's like, well, we know they're going to morph into the Power Rangers. You've splashed it all over the advertising. Why waste our time on...
Also, Power Rangers is still a TV show that's out now.
Is
Yeah.
I thought that
No.
was over.
Oh, there's about
Yeah,
20
they're on
spin-offs
Super
now.
Mighty Morphin Turbo Dino Rangers from the future.
Zeo, Neo from Space Rangers,
Yeah,
yeah.
something like that.
Oh,
crazy.
jeez.
There's a lot of them.
To be fair, we only watched it back in day for Kimberly.
I like.
Hey,
No, I
Joe
liked
Johnson.
Power Rangers, and I'm just putting it out there. I
I
like
did.
Power Rangers. Kimberly was awesome, so she got me through my childhood.
I still remember, was it Tui Trang who played the Yellow
Yes.
Ranger? Because, she did her last ever appearance was in The Crow 2,
Yes.
bringing it back. And then I believe she was in a car accident shortly after that, and sadly, we lost her. But I tell you what, as a martial artist, she wasn't just a kid's performer. She could really, really move. A really good female
Yeah,
martial
most of
artist.
them all could in martial art. Like, I mean, your man that played the Green and White Rangers, fucking highly decorated martial artist.
Jason David
Yeah,
Frank,
yeah.
Did one
You
of
know,
them go to
he-
jail for killing somebody with
That
a
was
sword?
Blue Ranger. Yes.
No, David Yost. No, unless it was a different
Different
Blue Ranger. They said David Yost is still around.
Yes, I know David Yost is still around,
yeah.
but it was definitely the
He's
Blue Ranger.
out.
That even showed up in Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
He didn't just kill someone with a sword, he kidnapped an old couple, drove their boat out into the middle of the sea, then killed them with a sword.
There was a great fan video that came out a few years ago called Power/Rangers.
Oh,
And,
yeah, it's a
it was like
futuristic.
really dark. That was so
that was
good.
so good.
Where there's only a couple
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Rangers
and it
left.
has fucking Pacey or whatever his name.
That was really. I recommend
Yeah,
anybody.
it's
only
got
about
the
a
guy from
10-minute
Dawson's
movie.
Creek in it,
I
and it's got your one.
I
It's
think
your
I've
one
heard
from
of it.
Andromeda plays Kimberly, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, James Vanderbeek is Red
Beak.
Ranger.
He was one of the. He was just about. He was like interrogating whoever was playing Tommy, and he was all machine under his skin, and he was like beating the snot out of him. It's like, oh yeah, so the Blue Ranger ended up, becoming like, the mayor of the town, came out as homosexual and died of a cocaine overdose. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, and then you had like Zach, who became a drug dealer because he never could succeed. This is really messed up.
Power Rangers Dark. That should have been the name of it. Or wait, that might have been the name of it actually.
If they'd have done a movie like that, because I don't think these companies realise that the kids that watched it are all now in their 30s that watched it when it was first time. So why not make a movie for them? That would make sense to me, because what I saw in that concept video, I'd have watched a full movie of that.
I won't lie to you. I thought that's what we were going to get in the modern one. It was not. It was not.
No, we did.
Anyway, I think that's a whole lot of dark superheroes.
I think we've pretty much covered them all.
Fuck! One of them said Punisher. Yeah, Punisher's dark as hell. Yeah, Punisher's dark as hell. The TV show and the movies and.
Oh, I've only seen the first episode. Damn.
I've only ever seen the Dolph Lundgren movie.
Dolph Lundgren?
No.
Yeah, back in the 80s. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on about the
the only one I've
there's
seen.
A really good short if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube called Punisher Blood Money, which is the guy from the first Punisher movie where he didn't like how stupid Punisher was made to be in the first movie, and this was him being in it because he wanted to play Punisher the way he imagined Punisher being played, which is graphic and bloody. Really good. Yeah, you should look it up. Punisher Blood Money. It's well worth a watch. 15 minutes of awesomeness. Yeah.
I'll get round to it eventually. It's like we're saying about Spawn, though, because what happened to this one where they were getting Jamie Foxx to play Al Simmons?
Not Spawn.
I'd be okay with Jamie Foxx.
I was just looking for an excuse to do the opening from that Kanye West song.
The S is silent.
Put the S is silent. That's one of the Wayans brothers, isn't it?
One last one to win.
The S is silent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne. I think the one last one we should talk about, because I think we could pretty much annihilate this pretty well to end with Suicide Squad.
Why?
Just had to go there.
I'm like, this is a movie where all you've done is advertise the Joker, and we were all kind of intrigued to see where it was going. We all saw the posters of Jared Leto, and then we saw the movie, and it's like, where the fuck's Jared Leto? We need more. It's like, no, go away, Will Smith. We know you're famous. We've seen you for the last 30 years. We don't want to talk about you. We want to see Harley Quinn, and we want to see the Joker.
Nope.
Ta-da!
No,
that's very good, Tom.
We didn't get it. You said we got bat.
I figured this fits.
I've got to admit, I really hate your face pops. They're too good. Now we need to find a superhero potato to talk about.
Spud Boy.
Okay.
Spud Boy. But I did watch another one that's been unfairly panned, was that Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I enjoyed that.
It was an odd movie. I feel like it didn't know what I wanted to do.
It was advertised as a Birds of Prey movie, but it was in fact a Harley Quinn movie featuring the Birds of Prey.
It was a Harley Quinn movie.
They released it as Birds of Prey, or the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, and then they changed it to Harley Quinn.
Literally because people weren't going
to
the cinema because they thought it was going to be a Harley Quinn movie. If you were to look at the...
Because people were like, who are the Birds of Prey?
Yeah, I'd not heard of them. I'd heard of like the Huntress, and that was about it.
I thought Huntress was one of the more interesting characters.
She's the only other one I'd heard of.
But
and I think that was from one of the
Moon Knight is really dark. That is true, but if we start getting into anime, we're going to be here for another 2.5 hours. Akira!
I
finally
saw Akira. Man, that was a
good, isn't it?
You understood that in one sitting? You understood that movie in one sitting? I
don't know if I got everything to it. I feel like there's more layers to it, but
a couple of times.
I wasn't exactly confused.
The one everybody tells me I need to watch is Perfect Blue.
Yeah, that's a...
I've not seen that.
That's dark.
I'll check that out at some point. So where are we then? I think there is nothing left.
I'm sure there is, but it depends how long you want the podcast to go. I can open up my comic. I can open up my comic books and just start rattling names off for you if you'd like.
or we can save it for another installment.
Yes, that sounds like
the Deadheads and Johnny do lists of dark superheroes. Yeah,
that's about the size of it. I think we're going to wrap this up then. Tom, I think the floor is yours.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been the newbie, Johnny from the Gorecast, our buddy Mike. This has been the Deadheads. I don't know when the next one's going to come out, but it will. So if you have any ideas for topics,
you
let
can
us know
come check
in the
me out
comments.
Sunday on my YouTube channel if you want to talk more horror, or I'll be there talking horror as well. Yay!
Yeah, I'll be there.
If you just want some music and shenanigans, you can check me out under Mike Rydell. I'll leave you a comment.
Ta, love.
Ta, Petal.
All right. Good night, everyone. Toodles.
Good night.